Alright, let's return to the Wacky Weekly, which had the smartphone toy, which was a very fun modifier that they added, which will give you a tier 6 on turn 3. So I'll link the other video in the description that I made from this weekly. I think I only did one, but I definitely recorded a fair few runs because it was quite a nice opportunity to do something completely different. And although you can use these toys in private lobbies, playing a lobby is really not the same as playing in an arena. So I was interested to see what people came up with this toy, and there were plenty of fun clips, both on YouTube and in the Discord. But one thing I don't think I've seen anyone do, and I think I recorded this on the last day of the weekly, is to try playing this pack without taking the tier 6 on turn 3. So all we did there was buy, sell for a bit of free gold, and then we're going to go the rest of the way without buying a tier 6 unit. Actually, maybe that's not correct. Maybe I will buy some more, but we won't keep any of them on our team. So Axe Handle Hound, definitely a fun unit. I've used it quite a few times recently, but maybe not the greatest in this pack because so many people are going to be taking the tier 6 on turn 3, which is guaranteed to be a unique unit, at least until the point where people get access to Venus Flytrap. But here actually on turn 4, it's still early enough that people have multiple tier 1s. I mean, we have double Ant, so makes sense. So the Axe Handle Hound actually does get to do something. I think Manticore plus Volcano Snail must be one of the weakest early game combos you could get out of this pack. But it is nice to see people going for it all the same. So I'm going to take Hare, another unit that I don't take very often. And then I think, are we going to take this other Axe Handle Hound before we buy the apple? Yeah, Jerboa with apple was pretty good this weekly because not only was there apple in the pack, but there was Qual to let you get more apples, and I think there was mouse as well. I'm sure we sold some mice at the beginning of this run. Although I guess to use those you would have to play a 4-squad. So tropical fish in shop, we're not going to take it. We do actually get an apple, so I'm going to buy the mouse second. I probably should have done that the other way around, but I was too quick buying the mouse. And then we'll save the level up. We're probably going to need a tier 5 to compete with the tier 6 teams. And very funny here against the Dunkleosteus, where they actually summon an Axe Handle Hound which gets to fire. And then we get to fire back because they had the double spider. Jerboa versus Jerboa. You don't see that too often either. Okay, I think we're basically just going to build a team here of lots of units that you never see. And Emu is another one. I mentioned this in another video recently, that Emu used to be one of the most common requests that people would make. You know, I used to actually specifically ask for build requests in the comments of videos so that I could try and record them, but you know, in the end it became the same as Rev, where you just have too many requests to fulfill them all. So, are we thinking about getting rid of the hare here? No, I should just use the wall chicken to increase its attack. If they do have an equipment, we should be able to heal the ailment anyway, which we do. And we've actually got Bilby as well. So, perfect round there. Although the Jerboa got turned to stone, it doesn't really matter. Definitely makes a lot of sense to put your scaler in the back line here. Instead of putting the emu fourth, just put the scaler in the last position, and then the cockatrice will hit it every time. So the hare steals the seaweed, turns itself into an urchin, and the extra health that we get from the emu is going to be good enough there. I think for me this is one of the biggest attractions to playing these odd weeklies, is ending up with teams like this that are just a complete mixture of random archetypes that you generally wouldn't see together, but because people are actually experimenting and going for different things, you still have a reasonable chance of getting to the end. And now I did play quite a few games of this, going for a no tier 6 run, and most of the time they got demolished because, you know, in the early turns you're generally just going to face people who have the tier 6, of course, And most of those have really ridiculous stat lines compared to the other units that are available that early. Still, there were plenty of good abilities in this pack. And I think here I end up putting Ambrosia on the hare. I guess it will allow us to always make sure we get a perk if they don't have any, but maybe not the best purchase. I can't remember actually playing this game, so I'm not sure what that decision was all about. Maybe I was annoyed with losing to teams that were applying an ailment and then sniping or something, I don't know. Anyway, we get the upgrade on the hare, we get another emu, and yeah, now we're obviously getting to the point where all the tier 6s have been scaled up pretty heavily. But this team actually doesn't look all that strong, and I think the garlic serves us well. And yeah, we do win again. That team's actually on 9 wins on turn 11, so they were ahead of the game. We'll just keep taking the Ambrosia. I think it was probably the best equipment outside of the coconut that you could get from Gorilla and Coconut Crab, obviously. Big scaling team here with the double tropical fish, but of course that's going to allow our Axe Handle Hound to shoot and actually wins us the game. Yeah, that was kind of an unfortunate team that had the Condor that didn't have any pets to transform into there. By this point in the game, it is obviously very likely that we're not going to find any apples. We do find one there, so we'll just keep it frozen for next turn. I haven't actually been paying too close attention to whether or not we've missed any apples. It was definitely possible that that could be the case. This team is going to activate their ii, but then that means that the Axe Handle Hound gets to fire. So very fortuitous there. I was assuming I was going to end up losing, but completely forgotten that Axe Handle would trigger. And then I think here I'm just rolling for the Jerboa level up. We don't get it, so I'm just going to use the apple as our last 3 gold. Still 4 hearts, so not too far to go. But here is a very big ailment team with the Mandarin fish, I think it's called. And yeah, they're basically 50-50 already. Very easy win. So we need to avoid the teams that have massive units like that, and we really just have to hope for tech teams. We take the tomato instead of the ambrosia. I think that was actually a very fortunate team to draw because they had double farmer mouse to activate the coconut crab. Very clever, but in the end it worked out perfectly for us.